Hello viewers, this is Nelson Ochieng of Juakali Times and Office of the Juakali Fraternity, a platform where we give opportunity to our guests, in fact, so that we get the opportunity to talk much about development, socially, economically, and politically. And today, my guest is a know-it-all kind of a person, somebody with strong personality, who is also an influencer, in fact, with me here, so that we get this opportunity to talk much on this area, Rambe Ward, and the entire country at large. Yes, my guest, may I know you, sir?
Nelson, you overemphasized who I am and who I could be.
Yes.
Yes, you've given me a lot of praises. My name is Apolo. I'm a development practitioner.
Yes.
Yes, I hail from Juakali constituency.
Yes.
This is where I live.
Development practitioner. Break it down for us, my brother.
Development practitioner means my studies and my work goes around development governance.
Yes.
Socially, economically, politically. Yes, I'm well acquainted with development in those fields.
Yes. For one to help us understand better, for you to have such a lofty title, maybe there is a procedure which one has to go through. Maybe a little, just in brief, you are from your days of school uniform, Paka, where you reached. Tell us the journey.
From primary, I didn't know what I wanted to be.
Yes.
In high school, right from Form 1, I wanted to be a doctor.
Yes.
I did my Form 1. I stayed home for 3.5 years. When I went back to school, I didn't go to Form 2 or Form 3. I went to Form 4. And that was in a different school.
Yes.
The reason being I was at home for almost 3.5 years because of lack of school fees. Because I come from a humble background.
Yes.
So the dream of becoming a doctor was distorted in between. So after school, I was not able to get a grade to go to the university to be a doctor, a medical doctor that is. So after my 4th form, I got a lower grade. I had to do a diploma in order to get entry to university as the requirement. I was able to do my first diploma in community development. Then I did my undergraduate in guidance and counseling. Then postgraduate. MA in development studies.
Yes.
The list is endless. I want to stop my studies at that point. But of course, I've also done anthropological current world issues under scholarship by University of Queensland and other many short courses. So I'm well acquainted with development from academic training point of view. That is the first step.
Yes.
I've also been able to work in the field of development for the last 15 years. So I know what can work and what cannot work. Yes.
Hello viewers, this is an expert telling us how expertise is on how to know what can work and what cannot work. Please, in details, just kindly tell us, how do you get this sense of knowing what can work and what cannot work?
Let me say it in simple terms.
Yes.
When it comes to development, at project implementation level, there are a lot that is done. Some people start from visibility studies. Some people start from baseline survey. Some people base their project and implementation on previous research done and their findings out of what is working and what cannot work. What is very common with development trends is what has worked elsewhere can be replicated in another area. What has failed elsewhere can be reviewed. And you ask yourself questions, did it only fail there because of the demographics, or because of political reasons, or because of economical reasons? Why did it fail? Or social reasons? If you find that it didn't work there, it can work elsewhere, because those dynamics have shifted, then it can always be replicated. Because in development, we say to change anything, when you're doing change management, everything is gradual. nothing is instant.
Yes, yes.
And everybody has to go through the development process to achieve maximum development.
Yes.
Like for instance, let me tell you for sure that Africa
Yes.
will have to get to the level where European countries are, or North America. They'll have to pass through the process those countries pass through.
Yes, yes.
It's obvious. Let me give you another example. Right now, we have so many Kenyans going to work in Middle East.
Yeah.
Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and all these countries.
Yes.
This is exactly what happened in America. America was built by immigrants. Now, in this case, the situation is not the same, but the process is the same. Africans building Middle East,
Yes.
but now they are going as cheap labor. It is the same thing.
Yes.
You build the country, you don't take credit.
You will take credit.
Yes. So at some point,
Yes.
Africa will have to do the things that other development countries have been able to do for us to achieve maximum development.
Mr. Tony, given that you are now going international, and I would like us, first of all, because for you to understand 3, 4, 5, you must start with 1, 2.
Yes.
And in a layman's understanding of development, it's just like a mango tree with 3 branches, which is social development, economic development, and political development. Just back home, kindly help us understand, actually, in a layman's understanding, what is development?
A big topic. People define development in so many different, it's given several definitions.
Yes, yes.
You've said development will cover on 3 things.
Yes.
None of the 3 thematic areas will go by itself.
Yes.
Because you cannot do social development without a political development. You cannot focus on economic development without the political part of it.
Yes.
Okay? It's all about looking at the welfare of your citizens
Yes.
and improving the living standards in a layman perspective. That is it.
Now, why, if that's the case, why is it that, especially in African countries, like where we are here in Kenya, you find with all that knowledge and everything, things are not working well? You still find poverty lines, with all this knowledge and everything, you find still poverty is still a problem.
There are causes of poverty, of course,
Yes.
and like I said previously, Africa will have to go through the processes
Yes.
that other development countries have gone through.
Yes.
That is the process for any developing nation.
Yes.
The causes of poverty are here with us, and if not tackled, most of our citizens will still languish in poverty.
Yes.
Because, for instance, let's look at a few causes that are common. One of them is bad governance. When there's bad governance, there's bad leadership.
Yes.
And everything in a country is leadership.
Yes.
If leadership is not right, the country takes a different and a wrong direction. If the leadership is not right, the policy formulation goes wrong. The policy implementation goes wrong. The economical development goes wrong. The social development sectors goes wrong. So everything is in a mess. So the first thing is leadership.
Yes. Leadership.
That would lead into good governance. That would put systems in place. Okay? That would respect the rule of law.
Yes.
That would respect the legal framework laid
Yes.
for good governance to thrive. You must have that kind of a leader who respects the law. That leader who puts systems.
Yes.
Like government are successive.
Yeah.
You cannot trust an individual. Presidents retire, presidents drop dead.
Yes.
Member of parliament, they retire, they die. So if you have system, it is the system that shape everything. It is not the person.
Tony, I would like still to know why you are talking of system, and system belongs to the government. But I do hear that the mwananchi wa kawaida, the common man, has the capacity to decide who is leading them and who this good leadership. how do you put these systems in place? Because now the responsibility is wananchi ya kawaida, but you find the system is with the government. How do you handle this? How do we balance these two?
It's always a wrong notion to believe that the system is just the government.
Yes.
The system is a collective of all, because there's the voter and the voted in.
Yes.
There's the ruler and the person being ruled. They are subjects of a ruler. So this all makes a system.
Yes.
And the system is basically a question of mentality. Who do you believe is the system? Because, for instance, we pay tax to run the government.
Yeah.
You don't pay tax, the government does not run.
Yes.
So we are part of the system.
We are part of
We elect the people who govern us. So we are part of recruiting staffs
Yes.
to join Kenya Limited Company to start working. The CEO of Kenya Limited Company right now is His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta.
Yes.
Who employed Uhuru Kenyatta? The Kenyans themselves through the ballot box. So at the end of the day, the system is a collective of all.
Yes.
And that's called for patriotism. You must be patriotic about your country.
Yes.
If the system is in place and you're patriotic enough, you respect the system. Look at the way Americans are patriotic about the United States of America. They respect the system. When you lose elections, you go home. When you win an election, there's a procedure. So that is a kind of a legal framework and a system where people follow.
But my fear is ours doesn't work well. We don't trust our systems.
How old is America as a state? America as a state is over 200 years old.
Yes.
How old is Kenya? Kenya is 50 years old.
Yes.
So where are we? If we have to do the development process that America went through,
Yes.
so we still have a long way to go. We cannot strive to look like America at 50 years old with the kind of mindset we have and the geographical location where we are, with the kind of leadership we have, with the kind of politics we play. You cannot strive to be America overnight.
Yes.
You cannot. It is not possible.
Yes, viewers, that is the voice of an expert. And before we proceed, I want the visitor, the host, the know-it-all kind of personality here with me to tell us, to break it down for us, especially with our two leading politicians. Given that now we are in a political season, we have now Mr. Tony, we have now two sides of political bigwigs in the country. Two sides, the older team and there's a new team, and they come with these blueprints. Some are talking of bottoms up, some are talking about other things. Your view on that?
I have seen and listened to the two candidates.
Yes.
His Excellency Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga.
Yes.
I've also listened to His Excellency the Deputy President,
Yes.
William Samoei Ruto, who is the leader of United Democratic Alliance.
Yes.
I would love to reserve an opinion
Yes.
on who is my favorite candidate or who I prefer.
Yes.
But I can say one thing about leadership. Leadership is not about stories. It's not about what you will do.
Yes.
Leadership is all about what you're able to do, your ability, your skills, and the vision.
And the vision. Yeah.
If you are not visionary, because in leadership,
Yes.
your role is simply to guide and influence a group of people towards a particular action with a specific goal.
Yes.
So, for example, if you are influencing people to an action with a goal, it is kind of be positive or it can be negative.
Yes.
Because even dictators do that.
Yes.
Okay? But we are talking here of a strategic kind of servanthood
Yes.
or democratic leadership,
Yes.
whereby you want to impact the moment of a country positively.
Yes, yes.
We have to look at Ruto and Raila Odinga in terms of who they are, what is their political ideology, what they stand for, what they've been able to do.
Yes.
We have to study the true leaders over a period of time.
Yes, yes.
Because leadership is not an event.
Yeah.
Governance is not an event.
Yes.
It's an ongoing process.
A process.
Raila Odinga is a civilian as we speak,
Yes.
with a very strong following.
Yeah.
William Samoei Ruto is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya.
Yes.
He is the incumbent. He is in government.
Yes.
So you're judging somebody as per what they've been able to do. Let's come to bottom up.
Yes.
There are two sides of bottom up that I would want to talk about. One, in the non-governmental sector, in the early 1990s coming to mid-90s, all the way to 2000, we had something called bottom-up approach.
Yeah.
Bottom-up approach meant the wananchi participation from the grassroots level, wananchi ownership of the project. The ownership of the project was pegged on the notion that upon the exit of the donor, the locals will own the project. So they were looking at sustainability. That is why they were involving the locals to own the project, to participate.
Yes. Yes.
Number two, the bottom up was the donor will not initiate a project.
Yes.
The wananchi will initiate a project on what they want.
Yes. The wananchi.
The wananchi.
Yes. Yes.
They will be given money to do what they want to do. And these are not state agencies.
Yes.
Most of them are churches, private foundations, public foundations, international donor organizations.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah. I'm getting it.
So that was bottom up approach.
That is bottom up
Approach
Yes.
by the NGOs, non-governmental organization, faith-based organization, and community-based organizations. That is my background, actually. Now come to bottom up economic model being marketed by United Democratic Alliance presidential candidate and its followers. This does not exist in books.
Does not exist.
It does not exist in books. It is not anywhere. I don't know what it means.
You mean
From what they explain,
Yes.
they are saying that they are talking of Mama Mboga, Mtu wa Boda Boda. They are talking of the Juakali people as development will be impacted from them coming up. Then my question is very simple. What would you do to Mama Mboga and bottom up? They already have a business. All they need is an economy that is thriving so that they get customers to sell their mbogas. If economy is failing, how will they sell their vegetables? Mtu wa nduthi atabeba nani? So ukiongea kuhusu bottom up, to me it's a model that has not been tested. It has no basis. It has no principles. And I'm wondering how it's going to be done. Nelson, let me ask you a question about bottom up.
Yes.
In any economic model, there has to be action, there has to be financing, there has to be policies guiding it, there has to be an agency implementing the project. So in bottom up, who is the agency?
You mean, Tony, that the architects of these models, they were playing games with their bosses?
They are not only playing games.
Yes.
It is a euphoria. They are woodwinking Kenyans. It is a bizarre. This model is a mirage that will take a Kenya nowhere.
Yeah.
I'm telling you for a fact. Because if you tell Mama Mboga the government is for them, who will collect taxes? What will do? KRA sits in Nairobi. KRA collect tax. Parliament does appropriation. When you look at the county senate, monitors the county allocation and appropriation. And how that money is spent. Where is Mama Mboga there at that stage? They are only paying tax. When you involve people in matters of development, when it comes to state operations, it is not same as private operations. When it comes to government, they have staffs up to the grassroots level to implement the policies of the state. And how money is devolved, the resources will come. And that is why some people say they want bottom up, they don't want trickle down. Actually, everything by the government is trickled down. That is how the state operates. There's no day the government exits. There's no day you will worry about sustainability by the government. Government projects actually stall. And that is the end of it. Nobody questions them.
Yes.
The government decides. It's very bureaucratic in nature. It's controlled by the state. So when somebody tells you bottom up, it is bottom up up to elections day.
Yes.
After elections, you are no more.
Could this be the reason why we don't hear any more of promises to do with laptops for school children?
You see, bottom up is like a promise of a laptop to a child. Some of us criticized it on the basis that you promise a class 1 a laptop, yet we have university students who need laptops for their projects, for their classwork. None was provided for them. We have graduates, people who have graduated, who need laptop as a tool of trade. Nothing was provided for them. The youths were promised grants. We said it is not tenable. Up to now, no youth has received a grant. Because
no, Mr. Tony, I'm almost calling you a Mr.
No, I'm not vying, I'm just an opinion leader.
Yes. You being an opinion leader, the way you are talking about this, in fact, makes me now to think of even asking you to explain to us what happened in the recent past. I saw people just ranted about this fuel thing and everything. You could be having something going and tell me about fuel of the recent past.
You know, when it comes to fuel matters,
Yes.
it's always good to get it from the government. But just in a nutshell, let me say this. The fuel crisis that we have just experienced in the recent weeks is a struggle between marketers and the government. And we know Jubilee government has been broke. It's a government that has been struggling. They've been borrowing to pay loans, until they've got to a point whereby they cannot borrow anymore. So Uhuru Kenyatta, the president of Kenya, has been trying to borrow from within. Like what Magufuli was doing in Tanzania. Magufuli, I'm privy to some of the operations there, of the development that he was doing. There's a road that Magufuli did with the National Social Security Fund. He took that fund, built the road, so that he can repay National Social Security Fund its money. So he borrowed from within. Not from outside. Because he realized the terms are friendly.
But is it a good thing to be done? Borrowing from within?
Yes, you can borrow from within. National Social Security Fund is a fund set aside by the state. It is a state corporation. So the government borrowing from that kitty is simply the government borrowing from within, but from a sister kind of an entity, which is autonomous, but attached to the state. Okay? Because they have a fund that they have accumulated over a period of time. And you see, National Social Security Fund is still being accumulated. Now let's come back to your question. We have fuel levy that we are charged when you fuel every now and then. Each time you fuel your car, you are charged that. The government uses that money cumulatively to pay marketers, to caution the users wananchi on price increments. This time round, that fund delayed. The marketers were never paid. They sat down with the ministries concerned, they discussed about it, money was released, and they agreed that normalcy should be retained. We should get fuel at our pump stations as usual. That did not happen. Reason being, I can only speculate. Some guys were anticipating price increase, so they were still playing cat and mouse game. Of course, you cannot believe the government 100% when they say they paid, because marketers are gone quiet. They are not talking about it. But we must say that there was holding. Somebody was withholding fuel because there was no shortage. Some people decided to transit our fuel because it is expensive elsewhere, you see. So it was not a question that we were lacking, we were having a shortage of the product. We had enough, But there was a tussle between the marketers and the state. Who suffers? The consumer, that the citizens. Yes.
I'm about to ask you, Mr. Tony, the needful thing now to be done by the wananchi ya kawaida. And before you answer that, your advice to the wananchi ya kawaida. Before you answer that, hello viewers, this is an expert. As I told you earlier that this is a guy who knows so many things when it comes to marrying the two, political aspect and the economic aspect together to make things to work well for the benefit of the wananchi. So Mr. Tony, can you advise the wananchi ya kawaida when in terms of choosing the right leadership in position? Because I think all this is just a matter to do with decision making with the right people. Yes.
What I can tell Kenyan voters is, don't put politics in your heart. Don't be emotional about leadership issues. Never say you love a leader. You can only like a leader. Put a leader in place that is able to do the things you want done. Don't put a leader that you love. There's no love between us and leaders. Politicians are politicians. Vote wisely. Vote based on issues. And you have to evaluate things that can work and things that cannot work. And there are those people who don't know. I only request, most aspirants have know-how. Somehow, most of them, not all. They have know, they can do civic education. Help voters understand what are leaders telling us. This can make voters have informed choices. Because when you look at the question of bottom up, most people don't understand what that nonsense is. Yes. When you look at most voters, they think of hustler versus dynasties. Then people think, I'm a hustler. Then I should vote for someone who says we are hustlers. That is not here or there. You see? Because who is saying they are hustlers? Who is a hustler? Because it is another definition I've never understood. Because if I know what hustler means, to be a hustler is fraud.
Some of the aspirants I managed to get and spoke to them about hustler, who is a hustler, who is a dynasty. They are telling me that a hustler is somebody who from nothing managed to get something out of hard work. And a dynasty is somebody who maybe has some background, some fertile background, where you are a child, today you are out of school and tomorrow you are in school and you are driving even a Mercedes Benz. Yeah, money is there. Economically you are right. You are right. Yes.
Let me demystify some theories here. One, the proper definition of a hustler is, the word hustler is attached to a lot of negative adjectives. One of them is being a fraudster. One of them is someone who does illicit activities to earn a living. Kwa Kiswahili tunaweza sema ni muhuni, njia zake hazieleweki, na huku anaishi tu, anakula. Now, let's come to the context in which youth use it in this country. They say a hustler is someone who is doing his own stuff on a daily basis to earn a living. Okay? That is the language the young people use in Kenya, and to what hustling means. Let's take it at that way. Let's come to dynasty. Proper definition of a dynasty. Of what a practitioner or academics call dynasty. Dynasty first is some sort of a hereditary rulership from one family to the other. Okay? Another way you can explain dynasty is a person from a family that has been able to influence or thrive in a particular area, be it business or politics or even religion. That is, let me just finish. That is dynasty. And when you go to China, what is called dynasty is not what is dynasty in the traditional Egypt. that it is from a family to family. That is not right. It is not true. Secondly, somebody will tell you there are people that were born and there's money. That is also not true. Let me give you a clear example of names that we can understand and names that we know. Uhuru Kenyatta, the father was the president. Between which year to which year? If you are aware of that. Kenyatta Senior, the late, died in 1978. 1978 to the year 2002, who was the president of Kenya? Daniel Moi. Between 2002 to 2012, who was the president? Mwai Kibaki. Moi's parents are not known. Kibaki's parents are not known. Uhuru is president from 2013 now to 2022. Okay?
Yes.
He did not take from Kenyatta. If you look at it critically, the gap is over 30 years.
Yes.
So it was not from family to family. So that aside,
Yes.
Raila Odinga is the son of the former vice president,
Yes.
Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. Raila himself is not president yet.
Yeah.
He's never been president. He's never been vice president. So when we look at the definition of dynasty, the answer is no. Can we agree on that? Somebody tells you someone was born in money. Okay? Is Moi a hustler? He was not born in money. But if you count rich people, Moi is rich. Is he a hustler or a dynasty? Where would you place Moi? The senior. Where would you place Gideon Moi? Where would you place Kenyatta? Where do you place Jimmy Kibaki? He's the son of a former head of state. Is he anywhere? Do we hear him? Is he in politics? The answer is no. Do we know him thriving in any business? No. Is he a hustler or a dynasty? So these are mindset. These are narratives that are punish, divisive. This can lead in chaos. Okay?
Hard question, Bwana Tony. We really talked of so much about national politics. Let's now come back at home here, Harambee Ward and Makadara constituency. We are in the electioneering period. What can you tell me about the candidates which are wide? We are now, whose names are out for the seat of Harambee Ward?
What I can say,
Yes.
I can advise or plead with Harambee Ward voters to vote carefully
Yeah.
and very cautiously. Wafikirie kwa kina sana.
Yes.
Kura yao watapatia nani? Na kura tupeane kwa yule mtu ako na roho na ako na vision ya kufanya kazi. Amejitolea kufanyia watu wa Harambee kazi and is visionary. He must explain to us what he wants to do. That is how you make a decision who to vote and who not to vote.
But mara mingi wanakujanga wakituambia mimi natoka kwa mrengo yako, tribe yako, so vote for me kwa sababu ya tribe. It is struggle. It is, we know it.
I've always said and I'll say again,
Yes.
that in leadership it's not about your tribe, it's not about your social class, it's not about your friend, it's not about loving someone. It's about the ability and the skills
Yes.
in a leader. That is what makes a leader a results-oriented kind of a leader.
Yes.
He's not supposed to be your brother, your sister, your mother, who, but he must be results-oriented.
Yes.
So Harambee Ward lazima wafikirie vile nimesema, ni nani wanapatia kura, kwa nini, sawa sawa.
Yeah.
The reason why we have so many aspirants, the voters have a choice to choose from. We don't lack choices.
But they are skillful. They come up with the propagandas and how they know how to twist words and handouts.
That's why I call for civic education, so that mpiga kura Harambee Ward anaweza ya kuwa kujua hii ni story, hii ni vipindi na hii ni uongozi. Kuna tofauti kubwa sana. Ukiangalia kwa macho ya pili na macho ya tatu. Manake kiongozi atakuja amesema ya kwake. Sasa wewe umesikiliza, una akili wewe mwenyewe. Makadara tunaishi, Harambee tunaishi, hapa ndio nyumbani. Changamoto tunayajua, Viongozi hawa sio malaika, tunaishi nao. Wengine wanagombea wakitoka nje.
Hebu niongeleze ukijua hata wewe kuna kwamba hapa na unajua venye mambo mingi za kimaisha siku hizi zinatusumbua, na mtu anakuja kama omba, kuna pesa anatoa hata usiku na kule. Unajua hii inachangia sana.
Let me say this. Let me give you simple economics about voter bribery and voter buying. Let's say if a candidate A amekuja Makadara ametoa 200 kwa kila mtu, tumempigia kura. Alafu yeye akaingia pale na hana uzoefu ama hana moyo wa kufanya kazi. Miaka 5 tumelipo shilingi 200. Sasa piga hesabu kwa shilingi 200, wewe ulipokea hela ngapi paia? Alafu piga hesabu tena hela ngapi kwa mwezi. Mtu amekulipa 200 na yeye anaenda kupokea mshahara 350 kila mwezi kwa miaka 5. Sasa je, wewe umelipwa ngapi? Mimi have never been bribed by anyone to vote for them. I have never been paid. Trust me. So this, my friend, I voted him.
Maybe you can afford blue band and red at once.
No. It's not about affordability. Yeah. It's about love for your ward. Mimi napenda Harambee sana. Harambee ward napenda. Sasa it's a love for Harambee ward. It's not lack of it or availability of it. So nini nimempigia kura rafiki yangu? Yeah. Rona nimempigia kura rafiki yangu. Haja nilipa. Milari haja nilipa hata shilingi. Mulamba ni mtu sijakula hata shilingi yake. Honorable Aladwa sijakula hata shilingi yake. Na mimi nimpiga kura hapa. Aladwa nimempigia kura mimi. Aladwa na mimi hatujakuwa na one on one. Hakuna kiongozi wa Makadara ama Harambee amenipatia pesa hata shilingi moja. Na mimi huwa naamka asubuhi siku ya kupiga kura, lazima nitumbukize kura yangu. Why must we vote? You know, when you don't vote, you are in Harambee and you have a voter's card. You are registered in Harambee and you don't vote. You are giving a chance to a wrong leader to govern you. You are allowing a wrong leader. You are licensing someone to come and steal from you if he is a thief. You must exercise your democratic right to vote, not just to vote, but to vote wisely.
Don't your view, they do say that new blooms sweep clean. I know we have those who have been there and those who are coming in. Your view on that?
New broom sweeps clean.
Yes.
It's just a mindset. That's a mindset. People love new things, but there's no proof that new things are better than old things. And again, when it comes to leadership, what do we term new or old? It's an opinion that is also again goes back to as being personal. Let's say, for example, you have a sitting MP and you have an aspirant. How would you say one is new and one is old? He's only going to be new in office. But I told you, leadership is not an event, it's a process. Leadership is not something that you come and tell us you're a leader. Okay? Leadership is visible at some point. Because there are leaders who don't listen. In Harambee ward, we have people who, they don't listen, they just talk. They don't think properly. They lack problem-solving skills. They lack listening skills. You see? They lack analytical skills. So, if you want to vote such a leader, will he listen to you?
But Tony, that is a good question, and we are now in a Juakali platform. Maybe you have poignant points to tell what Juakali, because I even in Harambee ward and Makadara entirely, tuko na watu wa biashara huku na kule. Agenda ya nini, advice yako kwa hawa watu ni yapi?
Now, watu wa Juakali, maoni yangu, tubadilishe fikra zetu. Tubadilishe vile tunafikiria. Ya kwanza kabisa. Pili, tusifikirie pia ati tutaweza kunufaika sana kwa uongozi kama mmoja wetu ameingia. Tunaweza kuwa pamoja, tufikirie pamoja, tuamue pamoja, tuchague mtu wa Juakali ama sio wa Juakali. Kiongozi ni kiongozi. Anapochaguliwa ofisini, yeye ni kiongozi wa watu wote. So watu wa Juakali wasifikirie tukileta mtu wa Juakali atatusaidia. I'll give you an example. The church has always thought that one of their own in governance will change things. You've seen bishops and reverends being voted to National Assembly. Did things change for the church? The answer is no. The church still struggles with its own problems, with its own the normal traditional processes. The view of the church is still remaining the same. So it is all about a mindset. And Juakali should also think progressively. Juakali should also know Juakali is not for failed people. Juakali should also understand that Juakali is not supposed to be forever on open shades or mabati structures forever. A Juakali person lazima kuwe mtu wa Juakali mwenye tija. Awe mtu kila mwezi, kila mwaka, yeye anapigania, anatia bidii kusonga hatua ya mbele. Kama 2020 nilikuwa hapa, 2013 nimekuwa wapi? 2020 nitakuwa, 2021 nimekuwa wapi? 2022 niko wapi? 2023 nataka kuenda wapi?
But kuna changamoto mingi kama hizi, mambo ya kubomoa huku na kule. Naona unakuta mtu alisaji establish vizuri, na hii mambo ya kubomoa inafanya kila kitu inaanguka.
Sasa wacha tuseme hivi.
Yes.
Mtu wa Juakali asiseme amejiweka ama amejiestablish kwa open shade.
Yes.
So many places where Juakali people do the operations, like mechanics who are, most of them are my friends. Wale wanauza chakula, they do it in open shades, in mabati structures, in areas that are not allocated to them legally. So in the first place where they're doing their operations, they are not legal structures. So it is time Juakali people also think, change their mindset, and also begin to recognize and respect the legal frameworks placed by the government. That you are not supposed to invest so much in a place that does not belong to you. This is why I say you need a lot of training to change your mindset.
But you see,
so that when you want to invest in a particular place,
yes.
Be sure where I'm investing is safe for my investments. Any business person would think that way. So Juakali people must change their mindset. Let me give an example. There's somebody called Crispin Omondi. He's a mechanical engineer, and he was in this bench. He sat where I'm sitting today. I listened to him. He started from painting. He's a mechanical engineer who has graduated to the extent now that he is a businessman who owns a garage.
Yes.
And he owns two. One is in Arambe and another one is in Mombasa. You know, he's graduated. Okay?
Yes.
And I'm very sure he's taken into consideration the questions of kubomolewa, the banda, nini, what, and security and all these things. Right?
Yes.
So watu wa Juakali lazima wabadilishe fikra zao. Waone mbele. Not kufanya kazi hand to mouth. Unafanya kwa ajili ya leo kule. Alafu wanasiasa wakikuja unangoja handouts. Unapewa handouts kwa msimu wa siasa, ukiisha amepotea.
As we are just summarizing up, hebu niambie, watu wengi sana wanahama, from our hypothesis, watu wengi wanahama Makadara wakienda neighboring constituencies in search of bursary which is their right. Your view?
I must say, the process of getting a bursary is still bureaucratic. In Arambe, it's still bureaucratic in Makadara. We know there are people that have been able to get bursaries successively for the last 5 years. There are people that have not gotten even one. And it is something that the member of parliament, the sitting member of parliament, should also look at it, because his term ends after elections. So, and all incoming member of parliaments, whoever will be elected, they should be considerate enough that this bursary be able to iwekwe kwa njia kila mtu apate. At least mtu akikosa huu mwaka ujao aweze kupata at least. Si ikiwe balanced na isiwe kupeana bursary kwa kujuana. Unaona? Tunajua mbunge ana mamlaka bado, mkono yake iko pale, committee ni watu wake. Hiyo we cannot fight that anytime soon, but we only ask that the sitting member of parliament be considerate, and if the MP can work with the MCA, you know, and that is the challenge we always have, because sometimes we realize the two leaders in Harambee, in the last 2 successive elections, we've not had an MCA of Harambee in the same party as the member of parliament Makadara. You remember that? Last time we had a member of parliament of Makadara from another party. That could have been TNA. And the MCA was from ODM. Now it shifts again. The MP is from ODM. The MCA is from Jubilee. Now, unless there's leadership shown in Harambee, so that immediately after you're elected, there's some sort of leadership shown. These two should work in partnership for the betterment of the voters. Okay? Another thing you asked me that is also good to talk about is kuhamisha mpiga kura kutoka eneo moja hadi nyingine with the hope that you are going to clinch that seat. What was kubali? Manake unapoishi Makadara constituency, pesa yako serikali wanaleta Makadara, lakini wewe umechukua kura Kamkunji. Sasa unaishi Makadara, Harambee ward, na kura yako ni ya Kamkunji. Sasa unapiga kura kuchagua na pale, lakini wewe unaishi wapi? Unaishi Makadara. Kwa hivyo